Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
What's up?
Oh, same old, same old. Ate some food. Now I'm ready to record.
Nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, excuse me.
Good times. Good times.
And episode 12 has a lot of notes. You weren't kidding.
That's kind of odd that happened. Was it? I don't even know how long that episode was.
51 minutes. Well, it wasn't a full 51, but it's 51 minutes in length. So probably about 45, 46 minutes at least of show.
Right. Okay. Well. Let's see. What happened last time? Oh yes, and whew.
For the record, I am wearing a hoodie, but I have shorts on, so it counteracts each other.
Okay. Oh yes, that was all that stuff that happened. Okay. I feel like I should add more coffee.
More coffee.
Which looks like I am, but it's not coffee.
Hey, at least we're catching up.
Yeah, although I did realize I thought we only had to do this one more time, but I mean technically yes, we will have to watch 2 and do 2 episodes next week. But the following week I guess we'll
Caught
still
up.
have to watch 2 episodes and or I
Wait, are we doing one tonight or both two?
Miss Marvel 1
Okay.
after this.
Oh yeah, you didn't watch. Oh yeah, you did watch two, but we haven't talked yet. Never mind. I get you.
Yeah, and then yeah. Do you you usually have the notes up, right?
Yep. I got them right now.
Okay.
At least right episode we're on.
Oh, hey, Misha Phi, what's happening? Hello, how are you? Ooh, it's gonna be a long couple weeks because we got again watch 2, do 2 podcasts again next week, and then the following week should just be. It still has to be watch 2, I think. Wait. No, I have this wrong.
Well, does it end in June
Or do we watch
or end of
1
July?
and do 2? We have to. So shoot, I had this all figured out. But it's so we're doing 1 and then 2, 3 next week. So we'll watch 3 and 4 next week. Do episodes. Wait a minute. Do
2 and
episodes
3.
2 and 3, and then 4 and 5. Watch 4 and 5.
And then 6 will be on its own.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, let's do it.
Yeah. It's really threw us. All right. we're doing the best we can, but okay, here we go. Starting late, of course, but we'll get through it. All right. All right. Get psyched, get pumped. Here we go. Last episode Obi-Wan. Let's do this thing. All right. All righty. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Oh wait. Gotta get Star Wars themed over here. Oh, there we go. It's my friend Darth Vader.
What? A plushie?
Yeah,
Nice.
Vader the plushie with his little stormtrooper head in there. Yeah, see,
Nice.
of
Very nice.
him.
I mean, that means I should
Oh.
bring up this guy.
He's just gonna sit here like this. There. Oh.
There you go. This is gonna be in my way probably. It's probably gonna fall.
See, Vader's
over
just
at
gonna
some point.
sit right here. There we go.
It's gonna be super distracting at some point. It's gonna fall over, I'm sure.
For some reason, he has a paintbrush. I don't know what the paintbrush is for, so whatever. I don't understand.
Nerds,
Whatever.
my R2 is at my work desk. Oh yeah. Well, I brought this from work, so. Oh, and these little figurines, which I think I actually originally got from work. Well, and a bunch
Ooh.
of different things back here, but those aren't. Can't really show those on screen. All right. Here we go. And to celebrate the last episode. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to Disnerds Plus, where we talk about your favorite nerdy shows on Disney Plus. This is episode number 12, talking some Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode part 6, I should say, of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the very last so far, for Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. I'm Shane.
I'm Mike.
Hello, Mike. And if you're watching the live
Hi.
feed, you can see we've decided to, Mike decided to bring in his Darth Vader plushie over here, complete with Stormtrooper. What was it in his hand? Stormtrooper helmet, or what is it?
Stormtrooper helmet. Yeah.
And as you
And a
pointed out,
paintbrush. I think
for some reason.
maybe he's painting the helmet. Maybe he's fixing the helmet for him. I don't know. I got it for free. I don't know where. I think maybe my mom got it from here or something. I don't know.
And we got a Stormtrooper over here. Technically, sequel trilogy Stormtrooper, though, I believe. So doesn't really apply to this particular, but it's still Star Wars. Yeah, man. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. What's yeah, well, we don't want to necessarily talk about how we felt about this particular episode yet, but it's exciting. We have watched them all at this point. Good times. I think it's been good, some mixed reviews I've heard from people. Some people maybe aren't. I love all Star Wars, no matter what. So
So you're biased.
I'm always, yeah, absolutely. Of course, I probably feel that way about just about any of these Marvel or Star Wars shows. So, all right. Well, without further ado,
Previously on
Obi-Wan Kenobi. In this episode, we were greeted by two very familiar faces, the Obi-Wan and I should say the younger Obi-Wan and the young Anakin, doing their fight back and forth. Several flashback shots to them, sparring, I guess you could say, on Coruscant. And we had Reva arriving on Jabeam. Well, first we had Obi-Wan arriving on Jabeam and giving a speech to I always forget the path, or whatever they're calling the path.
Called
is
the path.
like, yeah,
It's like the underground railroad
yeah,
style kind of thing.
right. They and Reva ended up coming in and some stormtroopers, and we have revealed that Reva was in fact one of the younglings back on also on Coruscant.
It's a temple.
And Obi-Wan tries to kind of swear at one point. She doesn't take it. Ends up using her lightsaber to bust open the door after the stormtroopers made a pretty significant dent in it at that point. And then we get a firefight that kind of takes place, but as I pointed out, like, yeah, the stormtroopers are notoriously bad shots, but they only had like a couple casualties. There was like 100 of them.
Yeah.
But we do lose both Tala and unfortunately Ned B, the loader droid, in the process. And was it only because I know there was another woman that got hit that Obi-Wan had kind of carried out. I don't know if she made
It
it
was
or
just
not.
like just a side person. I don't know.
Bystander, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we really only see Tala and Ned B, I think, go down, for sure. Well, she sacrifices herself, in fact. And meanwhile, we had Lola, the the evil Lola, take out the wiring, and that's what closed the hangar door, and then Leia, because she's small enough, can go up in the wiring and want to fix it. And then we also, of course, had, after Vader arrived, well, and after Obi-Wan sort of turned himself in and kind of convinced Reva that he was really bringing Vader to her because she wanted her vengeance, from killing her whole family when she was a kid, essentially. And so Vader arrives, and he falls for the decoy ship for whatever reason, and
Interesting.
pulls it as it's taking off by itself, presumably. Uses like the most force power we've ever seen. Well, aside from maybe that time that Rey, also someone, I think it was Ty Nisley, reminded me she stopped or tried to stop a ship that ended up
Yeah.
crashing.
Blew up.
Didn't have she thought had Chewie in it, and spoiler for that, it didn't. Find out later, but
How dare you?
yeah, two different, one's trying to catch the ship and the other's trying to save a ship, I guess. But yeah, it was a decoy, and he ripped apart the ship when he brought it down, and then we see the other ship behind it take off with a real, actual ship. And yeah, so that was a fun little episode.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it was a lot. Oh, and of course the Reva has her final fight with Vader, and then when of course Vader even for some reason shows mercy a little bit, and like, or whatever you want to call it, honor or something, and like chucks her, even though he splits her twirling saber in half, he still throws one half of it back at her, and she still can't do anything. She can't match his power, so of course
Yeah,
he ends up impaling her, and then we naturally see the Grand Inquisitor, the original, the OG, and also the never really stopped being Grand Inquisitor, probably because despite
it,
Vader giving her that title, shows
it
up.
was all a ruse.
And of course, he survived, which they don't go into,
They don't really
despite.
need to, because we already know he's technically alive still, somehow, some way. If they
Yeah,
wanted to, they could later on. Maybe next. Maybe if they have it in season 2,
but
which
I've
they
also
said
yeah,
apparently.
I've also heard that there's like, I don't know if it's books or comics or something, where they talk about how Vader, and I know a lot of that stuff isn't canon anymore, but how Vader like experimented with like resurrection stuff or something.
Oh
And
no, that's. I think that some of that's recent now,
is it
because they put it back into comics. Like all the comics now, after when Disney bought, are canon. So
just the newer ones or all the comics?
newer ones, like from I think 2015 on.
Gotcha. So
Maybe
have there
maybe.
been been books now, I assume,
Yeah, there's
too, that
books. I
newer
read the
books?
Ahsoka book. I read the Aftermath books, like after Return of the Jedi, between Return of the Jedi and the the Force Awakens.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, they didn't really go into that, but somehow both, of course. Oh, because before the very last thing we see is her seeing the transmission that Obi-Wan had gotten from Bail that he wasn't supposed to send in the first place, but of course he did, and she got just enough
Because he doesn't
information from
listen.
that. Owen and Tatooine and the boy or whatever in that, and that's where it's left off. But yeah, we get lots of people somehow surviving. When I think somebody pointed out though, Qui-Gon can't survive a lightsaber to the gut, but apparently these two have no problem doing it.
Yeah, right.
And I
It's
kind
a
of
new
want to
thing.
use Han as an example, but of course he fell off a very deep into a very deep hole after he also got impaled.
Maybe it's just where maybe they hit or something. I don't know.
It's
Because I mean,
it's only seems to be the Sith apparently, because Darth Maul survives his entire body being cut in half. Spoiler on that
well, I
one, I
mean,
guess.
they are pretty angry, and somehow anger gives them more power, so that could definitely help them stay alive. Maybe.
Could be.
I mean, look at Darth Vader. He's gone through some crap, and he's still well, technically he's still alive right at this point right now.
Technically, if this was a long time ago, none of these
Yeah,
people are alive anymore, probably.
yeah.
um. All right. Well, so let's start talking about today's episode, the final episode, part 6 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So far, because again, according to Ty Nisley's podcast, they say they did greenlight season 2, which uh, I haven't like read that official statement, but I trust them. So hey, here's to have more. I don't know where they pick up at this point, but anyway, let's move on to this last episode that we know so far, which starts off on Tatooine, where we got all the townsfolk in there walking around, and then we see some. Well, I don't know if he was actually drunk, but he looks like he was an angry drunk guy. Skipped ahead in line at one of the vendors there, and then we get a cloaked. I think pretty quickly we can tell it's Reva. Um,
Mhm.
Knocks the guy's drink or whatever he's carrying away from him, and tries to get information from him that he's looking for a farmer named Owen. Which, of course, right off the bat, we if I didn't mention, yeah, cloaked. She's in like almost like a Jedi or
Earl,
Sith-like cloak, I suppose.
it would look kind of more lighter than Sith, so
Exactly.
maybe
Yeah.
she's
Darth
maybe
Maul
she's
wore a
starting to go
straight
back to
black.
the light.
Right. Well, I suppose Sidious and Palpatine, Plagueis, not Plagueis, but well, I don't know about that one, but
Plagueis probably wore a black one. I mean, they all wore some type of black. I mean, hell, Anakin was wearing a black robe before he went dark side.
right, which is very much clear foreshadowing, of course. But
Foreshadowing, yeah.
so then we jump back to space, and we've got a Darth Vader Star Destroyer firing at the ship that had left, because they did catch up with them, as was alluded to by Roken in the previous episode, that they were right behind them. And we get, people on the ship are naturally concerned that their ship is being fired upon. And then Roken and Obi-Wan kind of step away to the side a little bit, have a little private conversation, and they're, Roken's concerned or Obi-Wan's concerned they're not going to make it, but and then Roken's talking about how they're I think their power coupling is shot, and
Mm-hmm.
then Obi-Wan goes back over to Leia, and you can briefly see that Lola there is sort of kind of cheering up the passengers, and Leia says they're scared, but that Lola is taking their minds off of it. Then we go right back to Tatooine, and we've got I put in here Owen and Luke walk into a bar. No, but they walk into a repair shop of sorts.
Yeah, I would say that.
And they're looking for a motivator belt, I believe it is. And then we see, which is kind of, so I didn't really think about this at the time, but this is the first we correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first we see Luke in town, right?
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, he's trying to protect him, but I guess they don't care as much about bringing him into public necessarily as
No, because no one really knows who he is. They're like, oh, it's just his Owen's son or whatever,
right. No one's gonna
or
recognize him, I
nephew.
suppose.
Yeah.
That's true. And then they get someone approaches and approaches Owen, and you can pretty much tell right away what he's gonna his concerns that he is going to raise to him. Clearly, what transpired in town at this point with Reva. We're then taken back to space. I just put space here as the location for everything because it's just easier to type
It
out
is a
space.
space.
We see that Haja then has spoke to Leia to sort of calm her down a bit, and Leia's upset. She talks about how you said you'd take me home. And Obi-Wan delivers the line. Please tell your father I tried. This is all because he is gonna surrender himself once again, or he's not surrender himself, but he needs to go face Vader himself. Essentially, is what he's getting at this point to allow them to escape. So he's acts as a distraction of sorts. But before he leaves, Obi-Wan gives her a holster, an empty holster. She points that out right away, and he makes a comment about he's not gonna have it give her a weapon when she's 10. But he also promises that he'll be back, that he'll come back. Then we see him looking down at his lightsaber, and he makes a comment to his master, presumably Qui-Gon at this point. I guess it would be because I always get a little bit because didn't Yoda? I guess he trained all the younglings at one point or another. Is that kind of why
Probably
a lot of people refer to Yoda as their
master.
Master, right?
He's like the master of masters.
Right. Then Roken kind of, I don't know, he almost kind of talks him out of it at this point. He doesn't have to do it, but then he quickly realizes he wants to do this, that he wants to face Vader again specifically. So then Obi-Wan makes comment about how Roken should continue being a good leader. That there aren't many left.
It's like the birth of the rebels right there.
Exactly. But the Star Destroyer is continually blasting at them this whole time, and we see the Obi-Wan lifeboat or escape pod or whatever you want to call it leave the ship then. And then we got the Grand Inquisitor and Vader talking about the Grand Inquisitor is almost trying to talk Vader out of, like, we shouldn't pursue this one lone Jedi, and Vader says, oh, it's not just any Jedi, which
they technically both know who well, obviously Anakin or Darth Vader knows, but the Inquisitor knows too, because he was also once a Jedi Temple guard.
Nice.
Yep.
So
that goes all the way back to Rebels season 2.
Man, I gotta makes me want to rewatch all that now. I'd pick up on so much more. But it took me long enough to get through that though. But interesting, all this. So I feel like this was the case with both. With Reva, like, she had a similar attitude about, like, pursuing Obi-Wan, right? When we first see her in the series. So now Vader, like, it's a very, what's the term? Like it's very one nearsighted, I guess. Like just focusing on Obi-Wan, but it's almost like Obi-Wan is also doing that here, where he's very focused on Vader in a way because he has the opportunity there to not. And I mean, to be fair, he is doing this for the rest of the crew as well, and wasn't looking good for him otherwise. So then we get we're back on Tatooine, and Owen is he makes a comment about so him and Beru are kind of trying to hide Luke in a separate room because they know they're they wasn't there a scene? Did I miss a scene in here? Oh, I totally missed.
Yeah,
There was another scene in here where oh, I think I skipped a bunch. Sorry. So there
yeah.
was
What did you skip?
something back on Tatooine where oh, I'm sorry. Where Leia back on the ship, Leia was upset about Obi-Wan leaving, and Haja Obi-Wan made Haja promise that he give him his word that he was going to get Leia home. That was a brief scene on the ship, and then we also had Owen and Beru sort of discussing back home. They were discussing the situation, and Beru was like wanted to hunker down and not try to run, not try to. I think where they talks about like going to someone else's place or something like that. They were
Something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
they were gonna leave.
So no, Beru was yeah, she wanted to hunker down, and we see her pull out a gun, like I assume like a laser rifle of some kind, and they're gonna wait it out. They're gonna basically set up shop and wait for Reva to get there. So yeah, so then we saw all that and back on the ship and everything, and Vader talking about how he's not just any Jedi, and then so then back on Tatooine, we've got Owen and Beru not pushing, but getting Luke into the separate room to hide him away, and they're also talking about how the Tuskens are potentially out, which I didn't quite get how that's necessarily relevant here, but I mean,
Well, just because it's just to tell Luke, hey, this is what's happening, not to make you like, hey, yeah, there's this Inquisitor who wants to cut your head off because
oh, it was
you're
just an excuse.
the
Okay, yeah,
the son of Darth Vader, and I
right,
want to get
right.
back at him.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes more sense now. So they're reassuring him that everything's going to be fine as well. So then back on the ship, the blast, the firing continues, but Vader is also saying to prepare a ship and that he's going to face him alone. And we see Obi-Wan land on this planet. I'm sure they said the name of this planet at this point, but
I don't remember the name.
I didn't catch it exactly. But Obi-Wan lands on it, and his ship powers down. And then we hear Lola beep.
Load the beep.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan kind of smiles at that, picks her up, and then sets her back down, and then we see some nervous beeping from Lola. Although I don't. I've forgotten if they show was this news? Did we see him take Lola before this or not?
No, we didn't see. I think Leia
Did that before.
Leia snuck her Lola in there
Yeah,
in his
gotcha.
jacket or pocket or something like
It's,
that.
right, it's for some encouragement or something. I don't know.
Right, because Lola was making everyone feel good, not
Oh yeah,
scared or
that's right.
nervous. So that was the
That
idea about behind it.
nice. Meanwhile, back on Tatooine, Reva approaches the home of Luke Skywalker and the Lars folks, and we see her. She's kind of panting, as for good reason after being lightsabered through the gut.
Mm-hmm.
not having a good day necessarily. But yeah, so Owen can pretty much tell right away that she's there. So they're getting ready. They're preparing for their defensive maneuvers here back at the old Lars Ranch or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, good old Lars Ranch,
Moisturizer farm.
the
I
moisture
guess.
farm.
Yes. So then we see Vader's ship land on the same planet that we'd just seen Obi-Wan's.
Dun dun dun.
He proceeds to walk from his ship in his classic Darth Vader breathing. And then we see off in the distance, of course, Obi-Wan is there, standing, ready and waiting. Vader approaches, and Obi-Wan holds his saber. Obi-Wan holds his saber, and then we get a little dialogue here with, "Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?" Then Obi-Wan ignites his saber, and he says, and a lot of this sounds like it's dialogue that they've used in previous movies or something, but it says, "I will do what I must." And then
Yeah, he
Vader
used that in the
says,
last. Then you will die.
"Then you
Then-
will die."
Now he used that line in Rebels when he went against Ahsoka in that Sith pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
and because she's like, "I'm not going to leave you," and he's like, "Then you will die." Same thing, same line.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
probably
like
where
it
you
was
heard that
even.
one.
I feel like it was even used another time as well.
Maybe I had to go through all the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's
So as you can imagine, the fighting then ensues, and you made a comment here about how we see Vader start using both his hands with his lightsaber.
I think he was underestimating Obi-Wan a little bit. Like he was like, "Oh, you found your strength, but it's you still have your weakness." Then he like basically they start doing their little saber dance together, and all of a sudden you start noticing Vader start holding with two hands instead of one, because he was like in the last duel they had about 2 episodes ago, they were just like he had one hand with the saber, Obi-Wan had two. This time Obi-Wan started with two, and then he started kicking Vader's ass. Vader started grabbing with two hands, and then Obi-Wan was holding with one hand.
What an astute observation! I don't know if I ever would have picked up on that.
Well, to be fair, you're taking notes when I'm watching.
Yeah. Well, even so, I don't think I would ever catch that. That is wow. That is a very good observation there.
Mhm.
So then, yeah, so that fighting continues, and back on Tatooine, we get another lightsaber ignited from Reva this time, and Owen right away starts blasting, and he starts yelling, "Go, go, go!" Which I guess he's talking to Beru at this point.
You can definitely tell he's not a fighter in any way, or he doesn't
Yeah.
know how to. He doesn't know
He's
how
a
to.
farmer. See?
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't know how to like be tactical about it.
Right. So when he's saying "go, go, go," I guess he's initially talking about Beru, and Beru starts
Yeah.
blasting as well, with her, I think, the rifle or whatever she has.
Yeah, it's a blaster rifle.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, I don't know actually, but yeah. So that's kicking off on the moisture farm there. Then back
Old moisture
on,
farm.
then we jump back to the Obi-Wan Vader fight, and it's on, and we hear, of course, again that classic breathing is going on throughout this, and Obi-Wan gets a good hit on Vader and kind of pushes him back, so we can definitely see at this point that Obi-Wan's keeps saying he got his mojo back.
Mhm.
Looking
Oh yeah, he
like
got his
here.
mojo back.
and
He is starting to kick some ass.
he even uses the Force too. At least I think it was Obi-Wan and not Vader here that kind of hits pushes a I put pillar, but like a stalagmite,
Yeah,
stalagmite,
something like that.
like he's gonna knock that over on Vader. But I think Vader is able to kind of push out of the way, and Vader strikes back, and we see him kind of knock some rocks at Obi-Wan's feet, and then he uses the Force to make kind of a big crack or a fissure. Well, first kind of a crack, and then that opens up to a big fissure and giant
Basically,
cavern.
goes down into the hole.
Gives the old Force push down into the big hole that he just made, and
The big hole.
he then proceeds to fill it up with big rocks to make Obi-Wan's tomb there, kind of.
Yep.
And then we get a line about, "Did you truly think that you could defeat me? You have failed, Master." Which again, like a lot of this sounds like dialogue we've heard in, I think, previous movies or shows. But then back on Tatooine, Reva is she like chucks something at Owen, I guess. I don't remember what it was exactly, but
Oh yeah, I know. I don't remember what that was. Oh, it's maybe like a crate or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Maybe I don't know.
And then she makes a comment about, "You really love the boy, like he's your own." And then he says, "He is my own." And Owen actually kind of causes some damage because he gets his big metal rod thing. He kind of starts using it as a weapon. He hits her once, and then another time he hits her, and where her wound is, I guess he knew to aim for that or something. But she manages to knock Owen down off of the catwalk platform that they're on, so he kind of tumbles from kind of a distance. But then Beru is kind of hiding in the next room over when she goes in, and I think maybe Owen called for her first, but Reva walks into the room, and Beru gets her with a kind of a surprise strike and yells to Luke to go. At this point, they seem like they might. We know they make it, but she does yell for Luke to go, and that's all. Reva's just after Luke at this point. That's really why she's here, and
Vengeful for against Darth Vader.
So obviously she doesn't kill Owen and Beru, but she just starts running after Luke then. And back on the planet that Obi-Wan and Vader are fighting, Obi-Wan uses I guess we see him Force holding the rocks the whole time, like none of them ever actually presumably hit him in the first place, I guess. But he starts getting flashbacks from the Grand Inquisitor, Anakin, Vader, and then sort of all the bad memories, and then he starts getting some good memories of Leia, and that kind of gives him the motivation to get a sudden Force burst of energy and push all of those rocks out of the way. And then he's able to climb out of there. And we see Vader walking away. And he senses, pretty much right at the same, immediately after he senses Obi-Wan, their lightsabers, he turns around and the lightsabers strike each other. And the fighting continues.
That's pretty cool. I like the whole rock situation. I like actually seeing Obi-Wan actually have some badass moves for once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does have some badass moves with the lightsaber, but knowing he could really do some utilization with the Force, that was fun.
For sure.
And then threw all the rocks at Vader, and I thought that was gonna like crack his whole suit up, but it didn't.
Right. So yeah, before he did that, he did another Force pushback of Vader. Then for the second time, he's raising, these are like his own rocks, not his own. They're not the ones that he was
The
trapped
rocks.
down in the hole
The
with.
rocks everywhere around him.
Yeah, that's true. They're everywhere, but he raised like hundreds of rocks and started force throwing like every one of those things hit Vader. And even after that, Vader was able to start fighting back. But then, we get another quick shot of Tatooine and Reva rushing toward Luke, and so he kind of starts slowing down as soon as she reaches like a canyon of sorts. And then the fighting continues back on the planet. Lots of back and forth here. And then we see some serious. Obi-Wan starts doing some serious damage. Starts taking some slices off of Vader's chest. His I don't know if it's his like voice modulator box or whatever it is. And really starts doing a lot. We start hearing Vader's wheezing, and at one point Obi-Wan must have actually got a slash on his back as well, because there's a nice kind of
Burn
gouge.
mark on the back.
Yeah, exactly. And even after that, Obi-Wan does another force push back, pushes Vader back again, and then he gets another nice, good old slice right into his helmet. And Vader's really gasping on the ground then at this point here. And he hit him so good that it's a similar. It's actually, I didn't really think about it, but it harkens back to Empire Strikes Back when we see Luke's face through the helmet. In this case, we actually see Hayden Christensen's face through the helmet, and
Pretty cool.
it was very cool. We get Obi-Wan saying Anakin, and then we get a very mostly Hayden Christensen voice here. It's still kind of mixed with James Earl Jones, but we get him saying Anakin is gone, and that I am what remains. And then
It's like the same thing like when they did Ahsoka, when she sliced his helmet open and he started talking. He had two type of voice things, except it was a voice actor that was playing Anakin at that time for
exactly.
Clone Wars and stuff.
Misha says,
But
loved how they did the voice mixing in this scene. Yeah, I agree. Very cool. So I guess man, there's so much Star Wars to remember. I guess I hadn't remembered that she did that. But yeah, and then we've got Obi-Wan here, like very genuinely apologetic, saying, I'm sorry, Anakin, for all of it. And then we get like a weird admittance on both parties here, because then we get Anakin saying, I'm not your failure, you're Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did, which is like weirdly, because it's like he's actually, they're both like apologizing to each other, almost like they're both actually taking credit's not a term, but owning up to their mistakes, essentially, which we don't really see them do in like their fight on Mustafar or anything, any of that. But and then right, so then I'm sorry, he followed it up with, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did, and then the same way, I will destroy you. And then we get another, then my friend is truly dead. And that, I'm trying to remember what that line is from, because that one, I think there was something very similar to that on Mustafar also, but
I think he says, then you're truly lost.
Yes, that's true. That's probably what I'm thinking. And this, the whole time, by the way, Vader's like on his knees, like gasping for air. And then we get one last goodbye, Darth. Obi-Wan calls him and walks away, which he leaves. Well, obviously he doesn't kill Vader here, but at the same time, it's like,
well, if he killed Vader, then there'd be a real big problem with next 3 movies that were, the originals.
Yeah, and even obviously what goes
I would
beyond that.
kill the
Even
whole. That would kill the whole everything.
yeah, and then we get Anakin or Vader yelling Obi-Wan, and then he shouts it from the rooftops again, Obi-Wan, almost like a. Isn't that what is Darth Maul shout in the? He says
Kenobi.
Kenobi, but it's same character. Very similar level of volume there though. And then Obi-Wan flies away. He could have prevented a lot by just taking
All
him out
the
at this point.
all the original series and everything.
Yeah, but whatever. Still good story, good stuff. And then we're back on Tatooine, and Reva is now going through this canyon, and again she's breathing pretty heavily, still pretty hurt. There's some sand falling along the edges or something, and Luke is I think it's Luke, or he's, I don't know if it's her or him that's somebody's grunting, the subtitle said, but then Luke starts shrieking and then falling from up in this canyon somewhere, and he takes a pretty good tumble, and Obi-Wan is able to sense this and does the jump to light speed. So then we see as Reva continues approaching, she sees Luke lying down there, and she does ignite her lightsaber. Kind of look, and then she looks down at him. We can see that her face is kind of lit up red from the saber because it is very dark out. It's very much I don't know what time this is on Tatooine, but if time were
Midnight.
yeah, it's very late, presumably.
If
but
they go by like our like the same way at time, but maybe
they got 2 different suns. That I don't know how that works there, but so she raises her saber, but kind of up over her head, but then hesitates because she's having flashbacks to Anakin looking down at her and her looking up at Anakin, and she kind of has this. She has her face in place of Luke, and keeps kind of like envisioning herself as Anakin in a way. And she gasps when she sees herself as a child there. Yeah, well, then she actually raised her saber and hesitated. Yeah, as one might do if you started having those visions.
Mhm.
And then we see Obi-Wan landing at the moisture farm,
Good old Moisture Farm.
and we see Luke, or we see Owen and Beru shouting for Luke, and Obi-Wan gets up to them and asks where he is, and Obi-Wan's about to go search the Dune Sea, but then right at the last second he sees or Beru notices Reva approaching, and she's actually carrying Luke. So when she catches up with them, and she's slowly approaching because she's still wounded and carrying a boy, but she lays him down in front of everyone, and then after a moment, we do see Luke sort of tilt his head and groan, sort of. No, she hasn't killed him at this point. So, then Owen and Beru then pick him up, and Reva is still kneeling there crying, and Obi-Wan approaches her and says, she says, I couldn't do it, I failed them. And Obi-Wan says you didn't fail them, and that you've honored them by showing mercy, and chosen not to become them. Who you become now is up to you. And she reveals her saber. Which, by the way, do we have a name for those spinny sabers?
Mhm.
Fidget saber. uh,
Fidget saber's perfect. Yep. We'll go with that.
yep. And she has it in her hand, then she just kind of lays it down in front of her, and Obi-Wan then offers his hand to her, and she gets up, and he says, "Now you're free," and that we both are. And then it's not over yet because we are then transported to Mustafar, the castle of sorts of Darth Vader, and he's literally sitting in his throne. And we do get presumably another Ian McDiarmid Palpatine hologram
I feel
here.
like I feel like it was just his voice. I feel like that wasn't this. It wasn't
It could have
him
been
as the
CGI,
actor
but
because it didn't. It I don't know. Didn't look like the last time we saw him, kind of thing. You know.
yeah, I did question a little bit, but my only thing with that is I feel like every time we see Palpatine, his makeup is a little bit different. Like
Yeah.
it's never quite because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, it's very weird Palpatine. Like
Gray looking. Well, I remember he was still like freshly just wounded, so that was probably like fresh wounds on him, just like Vader was freshly wounded and a lot. So the first
that's a
few
fair point,
years
I
was
guess.
probably painful for both of them.
Right.
That's why Vader was always in a bantha tank when he wasn't doing stuff.
Right. So I think it's Vader. Vader makes the
Vader.
comment about how the probes are out tracking everything, and then Palpatine comments about how he seems agitated, and that he feels like his feelings have left him weakened. But then Vader responds with Kenobi means nothing to me. I serve only you, my master. And then we get the Imperial March, or what was, I believe, originally called just the Darth Vader theme, but then I want to say it was later changed to Imperial March when it started including more than just Vader in it. But
Which makes sense.
yeah, kind of I think the camera kind of pans back and away from him at his throne. Um, and then we're taken to Alderaan. At least we can tell pretty quickly. It's a forest. We see the forest, which then pans up to the city.
Well, when you see Jimmy Smith standing on the landing pad, you know you're in Alderaan.
Well, I mean, I could tell we're in Alderaan when we see the city even before that. Yeah, but yeah, Jimmy Smith is a dead giveaway. She's and then we see Leia getting dressed in her royal garb. This time the actual Leia and not a imposter. And then she's also putting on like gloves, boots, and a holster, the holster that Obi-Wan gave her. And then her mom comes through and and she's talking about getting ready. It's time for whoever's arriving, and then she asks, "Is that a holster?" And then follows it up with, "I love it." So her mom's being a little more accepting of maybe Leia at this point, and then they go ahead and they go to the platform to greet a ship that's arriving, and then Leia looks up at Bail and or he looks down and she makes a comment about, you said there were many ways to lead, and yeah, so then he even makes a comment back about we're gonna then we'll do it together or something like that. We'll need to make the change together, and yeah, so Obi-Wan, of course, steps off the ship because despite she's asking, is another cousin or something that we're meeting today? But then naturally Obi-Wan steps off the ship and also delivers Lola back to her. And that's what's kind of funny because she shouts Lola before anything. which is it's fair. Like that's probably the thing that she cares about the most.
As a 10-year-old, I would probably be like, that's my toy, my
but
friend.
clearly she's also excited to see Obi-Wan here, and we get Bail and her mother, who I still don't think I know the name of, thanking
No, I don't think they
Obi-Wan,
remember.
and make a comment about how we can never repay you or something, and he's alludes to Leia being repayment enough, like her his time he got to spend with her, kind of, and he also says if they ever need him again, they know where to find him, and hopefully that Bale says hopefully we won't have to do that again. And then they talk about I think it's Leia asking what do we do now, or what do you do now, and Leia thinks he should just sleep, and then there's a good chuckle. Ha ha ha. He laughs at that for whatever reason, and Obi-Wan admits that to her that he wasn't entirely truthful and that he did in fact know her parents. And he talks about how she got kind of gifts from both of them, and it talks about the the leader that her mother was, and everything, and the passion that her father had, and so on and so forth. But he wishes he could tell her more, and she's very understanding for whatever reason. She's probably just okay with hearing anything, and so it's all right, and that he doesn't have to. And then we get will I ever see you again? I put that down because that one I actually do know the that one is exactly the line that Anakin says to his mother when he leaves Tatooine.
Oh, nice. I didn't catch that one.
That one
Not
I
bad.
actually remembered. And I think something about, I don't know if he gave her a maybe, but also talks about how it could endanger both of them.
Just being cautious.
Right. Say their final goodbyes, and of course we get a one last "May the Force be with you" from old Obi-Wan, and runs back to her parents, and Lola gives the last goodbye beep, and the ship flies away. Meanwhile, back on Tatooine, we didn't get any after credits. There's never any after credits. Just kidding. You always say there's no after credits with Star Wars. I always forget this. But meanwhile,
we'll
back
never
on
do
Tatooine.
after credits. They will never taint it with that.
I mean, if you're going to call it that, I guess.
I mean, I'm not calling it's not a tainting, but I could see George Lucas calling it tainting.
I mean, he tainted the hell out of his original trilogy. Oh, yeah, snap!
That's because he didn't have the technology he wanted, and then the technology was available, and then he made it better.
Oh, like sorry, Misha Five made a comment too about she laughed at the how she ignored Obi-Wan and yelled Lola. So back on Tatooine, Obi-Wan is packing up. He's packing up shop. He's we see he's got that toy shuttle, and I wanted to call it a ship, but it's really a shuttle. I think it's more so what it is, but
it's a T something. I can't remember what it's called.
T-wing or
I'm gonna look it up in Wikipedia.
He's got that in a pouch, and then he proceeds to put that pouch in a backpack, starts carrying that out, and he starts walking out of his cave. He gives it one last turn back, and he keeps on moving. Then
keeps on keeping on.
Then we see back at the moisture farm, Owen's carrying a big old jug of something. Well, maybe moisture, I don't know. And he sees Obi-Wan approaching on his Eopie, which then lies down, and Obi-Wan gets off the old. Which, by the way, did that Eopie have a name? I forget. I don't know if
I don't think it had a name. I didn't hear a name.
Wilbur. That'd be great. Owen, Owen gives him that, like, what are you doing here? thought you were gonna keep your distance, and I
Yeah.
will," says Obi-Wan. He, and then proceeds talking about how he needs. He's right. How Owen's right. He needs to be a boy. He needs to do boy things. And the only protection he really needs is from Owen and Beru. That they should, protect her, and then we could also get an "I will" from Owen. I now pronounce you. They both said "I will." I just picked that up. And then for whatever reason, he's feeling generous, so he says, "Ben, before he leaves, you want to meet him?" And then
Oh,
Obi-Wan approaches with the toy ship, shuttle, whatever you want to call it.
I'm trying to find what it's called right now.
T shuttle.
It's gonna bug me if I don't find it.
And let's not forget the next line, the first line we get, this is crazy to me that this is actually the first time that Obi-Wan meets Luke, and we get a "hello there" from him, which is like such fan whatever you want to call it service, but I liked it. I liked that he said the line, which of course we originally get. I think the first time was with what's his face? Grievous. Grievous was the first, and then there's also in Clone Wars Clone Wars, I guess. They did the reverse, I think, as well, where Grievous says it first, I think, but which actually I think technically chronologically, that would be before, because obviously when Obi-Wan first says it, that's also the demise of Grievous. But anyway, then the EOP and Obi carry on there and start their walk away. And you made a cut, so you think this was Beggar's Canyon that they were approaching at this point?
I believe it was.
See, because I actually had made a comment when we were watching this one that the canyon that Reva was walking into might have been, but I don't know. For all I know,
it's that ship is called a T-16 Grass or Skyhopper.
Okay, there you go. T-16, of course. That's literally the ship too.
He mentioned that in the New Hope when they're talking about how like
she used to shoot womp rats in his T-16. Yep, totally. And if you play the game Rebels, I believe you do fly one of those through Beggar's Canyon. Literally, it's an older game, but it's kind of or is it called Rebel Assault, not Rebels. Rebel Assault. There's two of those also, but I think that's like the first level you play is flying that T-16 through Beggar's Canyon, which is kind of cool. And as he's approaching Beggar's Canyon, of course, we finally get off to the right, in front of. First, I thought it looked like a little tiny one, but it was a tiny Force Ghost. But I think it was just
little baby.
It was just in the distance a bit, and it's of course Qui-Gon. We finally get Liam Neeson. Not the first time we've heard from him, but the first time we've actually seen him. Back in anything Star Wars. Finally see his Force Ghost. And then he makes Qui-Gon, of all things, makes a comment, "Well, took you long enough." And, it talks about how he was always here. Obi-Wan kind of like scratching his head at first, but he says, "I was always here, Obi-Wan. You were just not ready to see. Come on, you've got a ways to go." And I guess Qui-Gon's the one to take him to his ultimate abode as Old Ben.
They definitely left it open, though, for option for another season.
Right.
They left it very wide open.
Indeed, yeah.
Could we see Liam Neeson come back in season 2, like training Obi-Wan in different things now? Ooh,
he
kind of left. He came in at the end. That is a cliffhanger kind of thing.
He trains him how to sound like a make a weird noise in the desert to scare off Tusken Raiders.
Yes.
And to rip off arms of or slice off arms of beasts in cantinas. I don't know. All right, Mishfai also said a jug of moisture. It's a big jug. I don't know what it was. If it had, I guess it would just be water, maybe. But
Yep.
okay, here comes the fun part. Ready, set. Mike?
Well, I'm gonna go 4-5.
4, 5. I'm gonna go higher, I think. Because it's very, there's something to be said for conclusions. I thought it was very, wrapped things up nicely, put a nice little bow on it. You know what? I'm gonna say 4.8 even.
Oh,
So that puts it at 6.5, is it? 4.65? No, 4.7. 4.65, I think is right. So we got it. So the total. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 4.65, and then we got 4.8, 4.4. I always forget this part. I'm supposed to well, whatever. We're doing this on the fly now. We had a 4.8, a 4.4, 4.8, a 4.5, 4.6, 4.65, whatever. They're all very high in the 4.
it'll be in the 4.
It's in the
something.
4s, just like the last series. Do what you want with that. Good stuff. So overall, very good. I liked it. I've heard bad things from some people, but not everyone's
You're gonna have
love
the hater. You have the
everything.
haters.
I love everything Star Wars. You know me.
Well,
I know
mean,
you
I
don't.
get it though. I get some people are hater because of some spoiled, like some of the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that put a bad taste in anyone's mouth.
Yeah, and then some of it's justifiable. But frankly, it's like there's so many plot holes in all of Star Wars. Like it's you have to suspend your disbelief a lot, and I do, and I very much enjoy them by doing that. So that'll do it for Obi-Wan Kenobi for now. Yeah. So then we can maybe move on to another series very soon, maybe even tonight still. But yeah, hey, if you want to reach us, you can do that at disnerdsplus@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, disnerdsplus.com. We are still, again, for the next couple weeks, it's still going to be recording Wednesdays. Probably at 7-ish Central still for at least probably the next 2 weeks still after this. But that's over at twitch.tv/shavemaddox. That is where you can find us. Then after that, hopefully we can get back to 8 p.m. again. But we'll see, because then we're gonna have a gap for a while, as Mike pointed out. We'll have to figure out if we're gonna do anything in the interim between series or not. But you can find Mike at Cool as a Cucumber. You can find me at Shave Mad Ox, and that will about do it for this evening for this series. That's 2 series now. We got through 2 series already. It's hard to believe. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you listening and or watching, and we will see you next time.
Later.
Bye-bye. Hooray! Thanks, Mishafai. Sorry, I should have thanked you at the end there, but thank you for. I should have given Mishafai a thank you as well for tuning in. This is my thank you now, and also Roar!
Ugh.
Pew 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 pew.
My Darth Vader's going back home.
Finger guns.
Whee.
Thank you, though, thank you. Yeah, fun times. It's podcasting stuff, I tell you. Oh yeah, I guess we have to take a. We can take a short break though.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Be right back.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Sounds good. I guess I can play the music again. Something, so it's not complete silence, even though people are probably sick of hearing this, actually. Maybe silence is better. Yeah, I suppose I should. Yeah. I'll be right back. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Nah. Oh, all right. One down, one more to go.
Indeed. Have a good night, Mishfai. Yeah. Whole nother series right off Z-Bat.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Rolling like a big shot.
Yeah.
Wow, Cindy Lautner is 69 years old today. All right, good for her.
Nice. Had to say it. Okay. Yeah, it's like so many people, and she looks younger probably because she's had work done. That's what people say, right?
Ooh.
Cyndi Lauper.
Oh. Oh yeah, she definitely does not look like she's 69.
Yeah.
That's all.
She's more machine than no. It's not Vader. um, but yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose we should. Oh yeah, we should get going. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um.
Sooner than later.
Yep. 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 Okay then. Yeah, this one's gonna be it's back to being a little more disjointed because the show just feels more disjointed.
Well, it's not.
Like
It's not.
Moon Knight.
It's not Star Wars.
It's not
Completely
Star
different.
Wars, it's true. No, it's like starts
It's a
off as a
mystery.
daydreaming kid that yeah. She's yeah.
Oh, you don't like this one.
I will say I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, maybe I'll end up liking it more. I don't know. We'll see.
You've only seen 2 episodes.
Yes. That's true, but yes. They'd have to do some serious reveal, which they might.
It's only, as I said, we're only on the 2nd episode.
I know. No, I mean that's fair, but the point is even like WandaVision, a lot of people talk about that taking a while to get into, but I still enjoyed those first few episodes more than I enjoyed these few episodes.
Interesting.
Okay.
And that being said, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Let me just verify that is accurate. Episode 13. Okay. Lucky number 13. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to Disnerds Plus, where we talk about your favorite nerdy shows on Disney Plus. This is episode 13. Today we are talking about the first episode of Miss Marvel, Generation Y. And I know this is a couple weeks late, but that's what happens when you overlap shows, Disney. I don't know what you're doing to us. You're killing us here. You're killing us. This is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. I'm Shane.
I'm Mike.
Hey, Mike. Long time no see.
Right?
Here we are back once again, freshly off of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
We are back to yet again another Marvel franchise television program of sorts.
Yeah, just wait until next year when all Star Wars stuff flies through.
Oh, there's too much. There's going to be too much. Tell you right now. Yeah.
I love it. It's either this or books, and I like watching instead of reading.
Yeah. Me too.
Except on comics, I can deal with comics, but not the big, huge books. Nothing.
Yep. Yeah. So here we go. So this is a whole nother series right off the bat, right fresh off the bat.
Previously on.
Miss Marvel, all of the MCU stuff ever. How's that?
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, as you'll see, there are some references. Clearly
Oh, you
in
don't
this
say.
series. Yeah.
Some references.
Well, I mean, I have some that I wrote down specifically, but yeah. So we get to at the beginning of this episode, we're basically in, I guess, Kamala's room, uh, and she's talking about the her 10-part series on Captain Marvel that she's giving, which is, I mean, I think that's really kind of the last we hear of that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Was she writing it? Was like a podcast thing. She was
it was like
speaking
a
it.
podcast thing she was doing. It's kind of like New Rock Stars, what they do to break down stuff. It's kind of what she was doing in a way.
Gotcha. She does make a comment in there about Scott Lang interviews, so that's sort of like the first,
Oh, the Scott Lang podcast.
right? Um, which is kind of our first reference to other MCU. Which is no, I guess Captain Marvel obviously is the first reference, but then
Yeah, I was gonna say Captain Marvel is the one because she's like Captain Marvel came in the same day. I was like, oh, no,
nice.
they didn't. Oh, Thanos was also referenced. She said Thanos.
Okay, there was more than I even could catch because, as I've said, as I mentioned to Mike, this show feels a little bit not nothing like Moon Knight. Don't get me wrong, but it is in the sense of it feels like disjointed, just like super fast paced, and a lot going on at once. But
You're also in the eyes of a teenager right now, so
yes.
that's
Yes, and it turns out a very daydreamy teenager because that's the other thing that's happening here is like a lot of
animation.
animations happening, overlays on the screen, everything. A lot of this different thing. It's kind of trying to show that this is kind of what she's seeing. It's sort of through her eyes, but
Having fun. Having fun. Good job.
yeah. And then she talks about how maybe we'll learn something at Avenger Con this weekend, which I thought Avenger Con was a funny thing.
It's interesting because in the video game, that's the same setup. She goes with her, doesn't go with her friend, but she goes with her dad to AvengerCon, but they're in San Francisco, and then that's like they get to meet the Avengers because they're actually there. Versus this AvengerCon, it's like, hey, here's the Avengers, but they're not going to really be here. Here's all their merchandise.
Interesting. So that's the Avengers game that's
Video game,
doesn't have any of the likenesses of the MCU, but it's still had the licensing of the characters.
but they do use the voice actors are actually like some of the actors that used for animations of the characters.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
Makes sense. We haven't gotten anything animated with Miss Marvel yet, have we?
No, but I could see it coming in What If season 2.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Then we at the old kitchen there of her family. They're all down at the table. I think this is breakfast at this point. I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're giving advice for her driver's test. She's coming up, and so she's I guess well, I don't know if this is true everywhere. If she's a sophomore, presumably, or is that accurate? Do we
Probably
know that?
sophomore.
That's what
I don't
that's
really
what I
know, but
was.
she said she's 16, so sophomore.
Yeah, it should be.
It's about that.
So then after they have their we I guess we kind of meet part of her family here. Her mom, dad, and her brother Amir, I think is his name, and then her parents. I don't actually don't know if I have her parents' names here right now, but we do get them.
Well, she goes by like calls one Ami, which is my mom or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what she calls her. I can't remember what she calls her dad.
Right.
So it's like Pakistani names or Arabic names. I don't know, or was it Urdu? I don't know. What's one of those?
Right. So so then we're taken to the car where she's having her driver's test. and the I want to say not an instructor. He's like the tester. I don't know what the actual term is for that, but he's the one giving the test. First thing he asks, how about we start by turning the car on? Which she kind of like didn't think to do that right away or something. But
should they put her sunglasses on and all this stuff first?
yeah, and immediately backs pretty quickly right into another car, which happened to be his,
Oops.
which is a yeah, pretty much always going to be immediate failure. And and then her parents are kind of like obviously upset, but at first they're sort of blaming him, I think, and they don't know it's even his car at first, like, but yeah, and I think they even at this point are kind of giving her crap for like having all these daydreams of Captain Marvel and
As she's daydreaming.
right. So after that, we get a scene in her walking through the halls of her school, and a bunch of different like people are just kind of like super disrespectful to her, like the coach calling her Camellia, or yeah, I think Camellia.
Camellia.
Yeah, and people are just kind of looking at her funny, and then there's two girls that are just right in front of her locker, I guess on AirPods, if I assume in this scene also.
It looks like they were on AirPods, which.
And they won't even let her into her own locker, and she just kind of like sloughs it off. Like, yeah, okay, right, well.
Are they like
Cool.
on a call with each other while they're standing next to each other?
Okay, so I didn't get that until you just said it. That must be what it is, which is
because it's like that would be really freaking weird. You're standing right next to each other. Why do you have to call the person you're talking to?
Kids are weird. It turns
That's
out,
true.
but then we get one of our friends joining her, and I think this would have been Bruno at this point, and then they meet up. They're talking, they're chatting along the way, and then they meet up with another friend. And I actually don't know if I got her name either, but she doesn't. I feel like she mostly hangs out with Bruno, it seems like, and then her other friend is blank.
My friends. Oh God.
But as they're walking up the stairs, and I think Kamala, is it Kamala or Kamala? It's Kamala, right? Kamala bumps into another girl on the stairs, and at first it was a little awkward. I didn't know how this girl was going to react, but then they end up kind of complimenting each other.
Her other friend's name is Nakia.
Nakia, okay. I should jot that down somewhere, but hopefully I can just remember it. Yeah, they ended up complimenting each other, I think, on their outfits or something, and it kind of seemed like it was a surprise, like she's meant to not like this girl for some reason, or they don't necessarily. She seems maybe like she's I don't know if that she's rich or something, or what it is.
She seems kind of rich-ish, kind of appeal to her.
Right. So then we're taken to the office of I guess Mr. Wilson, and then he's like goes by Gabe or something, or yeah, he goes by Gabe. He seems like he's trying to be the like fun young teacher or whatever, or counselor. I don't know if he's a counselor. It seems like he might be a counselor.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a counselor, if he's or the principal. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Right. So he's trying to like goof around with the kids
trying
there,
to relate to them.
Oh yeah, because initially he over the PA he like he just like I think he made it sound like she was gonna get in trouble at first, and then
he's like, "Oh, just kidding,
you're
funny."
Which honestly, I'd probably prefer that over someone too serious, but So as she's meeting with this Gabe, Mr. Wilson, he's only a few seconds in, and she's already daydreaming right off the bat, and he's like, calls her out, and like, really already, like, and he talks about how it says junior year here, okay, which is
it does say junior, okay.
Interesting. talks about how it is, or unless
could
he says
work.
it's going to be her junior year or something. But I think he does say it is her junior year, and and then he starts trying to give her like motivational lines, and apparently just recites straight something from Mulan, which she calls
Oh
him out
yeah,
on, and then I don't know if he uses other lines in there that are from other movies or what, but yeah, he's trying to motivate her to I guess presumably apply for colleges. Wasn't that what was going on here?
I think so.
It's usually what the that yeah, if he is a counselor, that would make sense. But okay, so then back in the city, as you do,
Jersey City.
she's talking with her friend Bruno about I believe it's just Bruno at this point about I don't know if it's their first or just the first Avenger Con.
It's the first AdventureCon ever.
Gotcha. Um, and she's I don't think she thinks she has a chance to be able to go at this point, and um, her friend Bruno has a backup plan, and she yeah, um, let's see, so. Oh, it's been what do we? Well, I guess I watched this last week, but um, yeah, they're trying to come up with scenarios in which they could convince her mom to let her go at this point, I think. And he thinks she could just sit down, smile, and just ask her. And uh, and he also thinks that maybe she should stop pretending like her mom is Darth Vader as well, which is our first Star Wars reference.
Haha.
And I think there was another one in the second episode, maybe. But so they're riding their bikes around, talking about I guess they're talking about who she could be for AvengerCon maybe at this point. But I think
Well, what like a type of Captain Marvel? They're like listing off. I could be Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange type of variant, or Marvel steampunk kind
right,
of
right,
thing.
right. Gotcha.
Just different random things like Iron Marvel and
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
I mean you could say Captain Marvel, but that's already called Captain Marvel. It's literally making like Captain America, but just yeah.
Right. So as they're riding their bikes around, we're seeing more of these animations on buildings and things that she's
I
daydreaming about.
I loved it. I was like, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, it is charming, I suppose.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't know what else to call it, but meanwhile back home, not meanwhile, but presumably they get back and she's at home and watching TV upside down on her couch. So I put her mom. Is it her mom or is it her grandma here that hands her a box of
No, that's her
of
mom
things?
that puts a box of stuff that's from her grandma
Okay, gotcha.
in Pakistan.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Okay, so she there's a few different things in there, like I guess old photos and things, and then we do see these wrist braces or bracers or what was the other term they call them?
Uh, Bengal. It's a Bengal.
Gotcha. Um, she sees them, and I don't know if her mom says that they're junk or something, or um,
She just says that her mother sent her a bunch of junk.
right,
And that's probably what it is. It's just junk.
and then she tells I guess her mom tells Amir, her brother, to then put the box in the attic. And
Mom tells me. Amir, that's her. Yeah, that's her. Amir is her son.
right. Yep.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kamala's brother though.
Brother.
Yep. Then we see there's back we're in town and we see This is the first. Did we see the same gyro stand guy later? It must be Euro. I said gyro. The same
Yep.
Euro
He's the
stand
same.
guy. I think he might show up in the next episode. Also, wasn't sure if it's the same guy, but he's talking
It
to
is.
talking to. Is it Kamala and her mom at this point that are out, or who is all out? They're doing like
They're just shopping around doing stuff. So
yeah, and I think there's even some wedding shopping
yep, that's mainly what they're
happening at
doing
this
is wedding shopping
right, right. So they're kind of out,
for her brother's wedding.
right? Yeah. First they're out getting euros from this guy, and there's kind of a joke in there about hollow guys as well, and yeah. So then they proceed to go shopping, and I guess they're just having sort of bonding moment at this point, and so then back home, we've got Bruno, who is showing her dad how to use this security camera system, and her dad seems like he's very kind of intrigued by, kind of amazed by all this, or he's needing to be explained all this by Bruno, but um, then before Bruno heads out, she hands him a lot of food, and
In a
apparently
matter of seconds.
yeah, apparently very fast. Which because yeah, Bruno so fast so that
That
Bruno
was I even said take note of that because she's like, that's my superpower, and there's got to be something. Maybe thinking that there's some kind of lineage to her family of
right
some sort with powers. I mean, in the comics, technically, Mala Khan got changed over because she's an Inhuman, and when she got next to the Terrigen Mist, she turned into an Inhuman. But and
no,
yeah, so again, I have a theory.
yeah
I gotta still watch, figure out.
right. So then like there's it's shortly after that, I guess they I don't remember they get home. Well, I guess they were home already at this point, but um, Kamala has the conversation about she starts talking to her parents about AdventureCon, about going to AdventureCon, and then it's kind of an argument over whether or not they trust her. Um, and she makes a point about how if it were Amir, they'd let him go. And I mean, to be fair, he's engaged, and maybe she's saying if he were her age, because he's clearly older, right? And so she kind of, I think, gets upset that she can't go, and winds up going upstairs. And Amir seems like he's doing the brotherly thing, brings her some tea, and then he says that he'll talk to them about going, and he gives her a stuffed animal, and I think she makes a comment about how she's not 12, and
Oh yeah.
but he's like you want it anyway, or whatever, like you're gonna sleep with it anyway. Um, and at that point, she does send a text to Bruno that they said no. To which Bruno sighs. He's just getting home at this point, and he drops his bike off. He doesn't like chain it up or anything. I noticed. I think he just
Yeah, because it locks itself up, didn't you? Because he designed it so it locks itself.
oh
Didn't you hear the?
no
Because if subtitles we had, well, so I think we both watch them with subtitles now, but in the subtitles it even says like bike locked, like he like rigged the bike rack or something. Because he's like anyway, he's a small like upcoming genius basically. He's making things that kind of like the next Tony Stark in a way.
oh wow
He's
yeah
playing gadgets, playing with gadgets. So
missed that part.
yeah, no, I was wondering the same thing, and then I went back and watched it. And I was like, oh, you hear in the background, bike bike is locked or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. So he goes up to his I don't know if it's his house, apartment, or whatever it is.
It's his whereas I think he lives with his grandparents or something.
Okay.
Maybe.
Enters his room, then he sighs again. He wants his best friend to go with him.
Well, he can't go if she doesn't go, I think.
Oh, gotcha. So then back home, she's now she's got her Captain Marvel costume on. She's looking at that in the mirror, and she's kind of like doing the old, turn around thing in the mirror and all that, and she's about to put this blue ribbon
Sash.
sash. Okay, she's about to put that around. They like kind of use it as a belt, sort of, and then her mom is, I think, knocking or coming in at this point. I think knocking, and she quickly throws a robe over all that, and her mom enters, and she says she can go, but that her conditions are that her dad'll drive and stay for 2 hours, and
Weird.
and then the next thing, the next big surprise is that her dad busts in a Hulk costume, which is also
He's yelling
very
yelling a lot, like it's like scares her, I think.
yeah.
He's like, ah! Like,
He's
what
got
the hell's
green. He's got green face paint on as well, and
I thought he was gonna give himself an aneurysm or something, yelling that hard.
yeah, and he's also got is it a traditional? It's like a mixture of Hulk and like traditional Pakistani garb, I guess, of some
Yeah, I would
kind.
say like I don't know what it's called. I don't want try to guess what it's called, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. But clearly she's not into it. But to your point earlier about her making the food fast, this also suggests that she was able to make this costume very quickly as well.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think that one.
Well,
Just like the same day. I think.
You've expanded my mind a bit to this.
Good.
So then we see I think it's Bruno and Kamala on the rooftop. She's I should say before all this, she did kind of hurt her parents, and her mom makes a comment about like it's either that or you don't go at all, and then she, I don't remember, she proceeds to talk to her dad briefly, and he's already pretty sad, and then he straight up says she can't go, I think.
Yep.
So then we see her and Bruno on the rooftop. I don't know, is this his place or her place? Do we know which rooftop?
I think maybe it's between their places or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Don't know.
Yeah, they don't really explain what rooftop this is, I guess, but I would guess it's maybe
neighborhood rooftops, because I mean,
yeah,
it's New Jersey, New York. Maybe they had that kind of thing out there.
right.
To hang out on the
Yeah.
rooftops.
Jersey City. So Jersey City should have said that before, I guess. This is
Across the river from New York, I believe.
gotcha. So she's talking to him about how she hurt her parents, and they have kind of a brief moment there, I think, at one point, which even though they're really good friends, for a moment there, it seemed like I could go, other places maybe. But then he kind of interjects and shows that he's got these proton gloves that he made, which are they're light up gloves, gloves with lights on them. Do they do more than that?
I gotta back you up there for a sec. Did you say proton?
Sorry, is that wrong?
Yeah, sorry. It's photon.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Photon.
Sorry.
Okay. Wait, proton. Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. But anyway, they are just light up gloves, right?
Yes.
Essentially, they don't. I missed this part. They don't do more than light up, right?
That's all they do is light up. Yeah, they're just to make it look like she has photon powers, like Captain Marvel.
Right. And then they fight, in quotes, I guess. They spar or something at this point. With the photon gloves.
And then Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, she's named Captain Photon.
Really?
Yep. And then think about it. And then you got Miss Marvel, and I'm pretty sure the end of the series is going to lead into some of the how it goes into the movie The Marvels, because it's called The Marvels because you have Captain Marvel, you have Miss Marvel, and then you have Captain Photon. I think it's going to be, or Photon. In one part, in another series, there's like, I guess, in another multiverse or universe, Monica Rambeau or her mom are Captain Marvel.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah, take that and put that in your brain and try to figure it all out.
No. I'll let you take care of that. So, having said that, Monica Rambeau, they haven't revealed yet, though, in the MCU, her as
Not They
Captain.
haven't officially said her name as like that, but that's where it's leading to.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
maybe she'll make her debut as Captain Photon in the Marvels movie.
All right. And then she'll just use the gloves that Bruno made. No, I don't.
There you go. Yep.
Just for show. So then back at school, we're in the locker room briefly, and then just to show she's getting ready for gym or whatever, and she gets hit in the face with a basketball, like you do. I've been there.
It's a day in the life of Kamala Khan.
Yeah. Right. It's very much emphasizing like her, not necessarily clumsiness, or not necessarily bad luck, but like seems like people are out to get her kind of for whatever reason.
They just want to pick on the easy target.
Yeah, she's not like she is, I guess, kind of clumsy. She doesn't have a lot of confidence for sure. And then we see her holding the nice pack over her face. And her dad. Okay, her dad talked about Zuzu. Talks to Zuzu. Who's Zuzu? Is Zuzu?
Zuzu's that thing that Bruno brought over. That's supposed to be like an Alexa kind of thing.
Right.
It controls
Okay,
your TV.
so she must have been back at home when she's had the ice pack on her face, and then her dad, is talking to Zuzu like it's well, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a virtual assistant.
It's kind of like that, but it just doesn't work anymore, and he's like freaking out about it.
So
that's later on. So
her dad talking to Zuzu is would give her like a literal light bulb moment, because of course another animation over her head with a light bulb, I think, at this point.
Yep.
And so then back at school, she talks to Bruno about her plan that she has, which goes into her daydream mode again, and talks about after her. So she's like very daydreaming because she's talking about how her family's like praising her at the dinner table. That's part of her plan. Is how they like talk about all the good things that they never actually talk about. And she goes and hooks something up to her door that.
it's supposed to supposed to warn? No, is it? What is it supposed to do?
Was it? Yeah. Wasn't it just like a noise it made or something that made people think she was still sleeping or something like that?
Well, they could see they could see like camera motion detection, and it would give them a warning on the phone too when they're out and about. That's what that thing is supposed to do.
Right. And so then she's continues to explain her plan to Bruno, and so like leave at 5:15, and then they they end up taking the bus. But in the for whatever reason, I think in her daydream they ride the bikes onto the bus. Isn't that what happens?
Oh yeah, they flipping on off the bus. And, yeah, whole Avenger type of superhero landing things happening and stuff. But
Yeah,
that's all daydreaming.
and then they say they that they arrive. They get back by 9:55 ish. I think is somewhere
That's
along those lines.
that's all her dreams in a one.
Right. She has this elaborate plot that's clearly going to go off without a hitch. And Bruno makes a comment about maybe she can still mix something Pakistani with her
Costume.
Miss Marvel, or yeah, her not her Miss Marvel, her Captain Marvel costume. And so then back home, she starts going through that box in the attic, or maybe I don't know if it was immediately that box or other things in the attic first. I think either way, she starts looking through that box in the attic, and she finds some old things in there. There's a red cloth in there, I want to say, but she also finds those bangles, as you call them.
Bangle, only one. There was only one. It wasn't.
Oh, it is just
two.
one. Why I always think okay, I always
Yep.
assume it's two. Yeah, good call. And then so we see him downstairs then for dinner and passing dishes around, and the time is a bit delayed, but we see Bruno at the window. She sees Bruno at the window, and I don't know if they were communicating at this point somehow, or
He's just kind of there waiting, and then
yeah,
she just kind of did her thing ran upstairs and
she
jumped out of a window.
her first yeah. So being delayed was our first hiccup, and then when she dove for the tree branch, which I guess we didn't say was part of the.
Here's the thing, though: if you even jump like that and you land like she did on that branch, that is gonna hurt your ribs. You're gonna break ribs. Like, come on.
Yeah, in her plan that she told Bruno before, she probably did like an effortless flip or
Yeah.
swing from the tree
Superhero
branch or
landing.
whatever. Yeah, and in this, she straight up breaks this big tree branch and comes
And it
falling down.
falls on her.
Yeah, it all looked a little bit far fetched, but I mean, which is funny because this is like supposed to be the reality part, but they completely end up missing the bus, and of course they're not going to jump off of a bridge with their bikes. Eventually they do end up catching up, and this is the part in her plan that actually went well. Mostly according to plan, they did get on the
Kinda.
bus, but her
Well,
bike didn't make it through, and the bus driver did not stop at all. And then they said, she asked Bruno what the chances of her bike being there when she got back, and he said 0.0001% chance in Jersey City anyway. But then they do wind up making it to Avenger Con. And we see all the different Avengers things. Do you remember any things of note that we see here in particular? Like
I
all
mean, it
the
was just a
different
bunch of. It was just like you had people wearing ant heads for Ant-Man, and you had Thor. You had Thor as Guardians. You had, I think they were selling like beer that was like Asgardian, or not beer, maybe it was like a drink, of Asgardian drink of some sort for kids. And
Oh, nice.
what else was there? There was Captain Marvel flying and something. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't remember seeing.
there
I
was
don't
a
remember
whole
seeing if there was other that stuff, but there was apparently a QR code somewhere in there you could scan, and you
oh
could get one of
no,
the Miss Marvel comics.
because they did that with Moon Knight too, right?
Yeah, like they're starting to do that a lot with the.
Yeah, that's cool.
There, scan this down, and you get what this.
Right. So there was a whole Captain Marvel area though, as you mentioned, and this is of course the part where she's just in awe and looking up and in complete daydream mode at this point, as one would be for their hero,
Yep.
And she at one point she sees But she sees her parents about to get down in the camera through the camera.
Oh yeah, yep.
They're like,
Yep.
Amir is gone or whatever, and she's Kamala's in her room, and hubba hubba, whatever. And so when they're at AdventureCon, they do spot this Zoe, who was the one that she had bumped into on the stairs, which they were super surprised. That was the one that they bumped into on the stairs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're super surprised to see her dressed as Captain Marvel, and I think they make a comment about how like she doesn't even like Captain Marvel or something like that, or
Oh yeah. Zoe's just being like
doing the cool thing.
Poser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought this was, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like they didn't maybe have time to change before this or something, but it was a little weird to me that they didn't, like, the first thing they did wasn't change into their costumes, but I guess they waited for the costume contest. And
whatever.
so at this point, they do decide. Well, to be fair, I get that. I guess I get that for certain cosplay stuff, like at conventions. Like some of that stuff is like really heavy and awkward, and like you don't want to be wearing that the whole show. But like they're not wearing anything that they couldn't.
Maybe it gets warm. Maybe it gets kind of warm.
Yeah, I guess so. Just depends on how dedicated you are. That's all. No. But they do at this point. She goes to change into her Captain Marvel costume, and totally slips her mind. Totally screws up and winds up leaving the gloves in the bathroom. And so when they meet back up, Bruno is wearing. He's really just wearing a lab coat, I think, and says he's Bruce Banner.
Works.
Incidentally, which our mom almost made her go as, but or not her. Well, no, actually, that's the part I forgot to mention. So her dad was going to go as that, but wasn't that she had a matching?
Yeah, she's
matching
a little Hulk. I was like,
yeah,
that doesn't work.
Right. So yeah. So then I don't know if it was right away that I don't know if he asks about the gloves and says, "Oh, I left them in the bathroom," and she of course doesn't have time.
And he's like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's more important to get because it's like a tight deadline. They're saying, "Get on the stage now" or whatever if you want to be part of the costume contest. And so she opens the bangle at this point and puts that on. This is the first time I guess she's put it on because then she suddenly gets the energy of this thing just surrounding her entire body, almost like a force field kind of, and she gets onto the stage. And at first the camera lights are going off everywhere and it's a bit overwhelming for her, and that basically causes her to produce, as I put here, this energy ice. Or we have a different name in the second episode for this.
Energy ice.
Okay. I was like, it's crystallized energy, right?
Oh.
Like maybe what I would call it. But when she does that, of course, it gets people to cheer. Although, if I saw that, I don't know if cheering would be my first reaction.
I mean, they're already used to powers, so it's like, oh wow, that's someone's power.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I suppose different universe. And so she starts kind of shooting this stuff around, energy eyes, whatever. And at one point, there's a giant Ant-Man head, not just a head. It's like this is the whole
it's a whole
bust.
Body, but she knocks down the head.
She hits the head initially. Then we can see it kind of tilt, and then eventually it does pans back to it, and it does start falling and rolling, and then I think that rolls into Thor's hammer, or it's almost like a
it's a chain reaction.
Yeah, chain reaction. I was gonna say like a Rube Goldberg device or something, but yeah, like a chain reaction of Eventually, we get Thor's hammer gets hit and swings, and it was about to hit Zoe. Or no, Zoe does get hit by Thor's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kamala, I would say Kamala, no Kamala,
Kamala.
She does save her at this point, and
With her energy ice.
with her energy ice, right? Exactly. Was it Thor's hammer? Because she already got hit by Thor's hammer. What was the thing that actually stopped from hitting her at that point?
Well, Thor's hammer knocked her into like some like bunch of balloons, and then she started falling.
Oh, okay. So she just stopped her from hitting the ground, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. And then she ran away with Bruno, and then they disappeared. And Zoe didn't know who did it.
Right.
Well, she knew someone did it, but she didn't know who. Kamala.
Right. And there was a lot of cameras around that caught all this footage and everything. So like people were both excited and terrified, I guess, at the same time. Maybe, I don't know if I
There you go.
saw something like this, but so then she does she lifts herself up to her, I put roof, but she's trying to get in her room at this point.
It's like the awning part of the roof.
Right.
Right.
And so I guess she uses that energy to push her up also. That's part of it?
But I don't think she knows what she's doing right now. It's just kind of happening because her body reacting on its own.
Right. So she enters her room, and of course her mom is right there, waiting for her.
Of course.
Naturally. And then she's very concerned and everything. Of course, like what is even happening with you? You need to stop fantasizing and focus on you. Kind of thing.
I think her mom knows more about something than she's really owning up to.
Right.
She's very, very weird about certain things. Like you shouldn't daydream. It's gonna get you in trouble. It's all of us always daydream, and just nothing but trouble. Blah blah blah. It's like, what's going on here? So I think there's a secret she's not really telling. Also, she also got really weird with when Kamala found the bangle.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep. There's
watch for her.
Something going on there. I agree. It's almost like she's trying to, prevent her from. It kind of reminds me of what Owen might be doing to Luke in Obi-Wan, kind of like protect
suppress her from actually being powerful.
Right, exactly. So then she lays back in bed and looks up at a poster of Captain Marvel, I think, right?
She looks at Captain Marvel, and then she looks, because her mom made a comment about if you want to be a cosmic like fool or something like that, or be your own person. And she's like, and then she's like laying on the ground or laying on her bed, and then the end she just says cosmic.
Oh, and she does. I put that she activated the bangle again.
I don't know. Somehow she's activating. I don't know how she's activating it, but we'll probably find that out.
Right. And because this is a Marvel show, we do get an after credits sequence here, which we see a phone ringing, and then there's a woman that proceeds to show this other officer or agent. Agent's probably more accurate. A video of the AvengerCon. Why did I put Spider-Man in here?
Because that guy that's in there was in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Because it's from the damage control, the U.S. Department of Damage Control.
Right. Which we see in. You said in.
He was in Spider-Man.
No Way Home. You said. Yeah.
Yep, because he was the one like trying to figure out why Spider-Man used all these drones to hurt people in London, and then that came up. Like then you saw Daredevil, or well, you didn't see Daredevil. You saw the character Matt Murdock.
Mm-hmm.
After that, so and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So now you got this damage control guy that's been in Spider-Man. Now he's here.
Right, and And then, so the scene we see him though in Spider-Man, he's interviewing like Ned, MJ,
Aunt May, Aunt
and
May,
and
Aunt
Aunt
May.
May, yeah, okay, and Peter,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, gotcha, yeah, because you recognized it right away, I think, and I would not have remembered that guy's face at all, but maybe I need to see that movie again, but
Yeah.
good
How many times
catch.
you see it once?
I think I did only end up seeing it once, but
Oh, wow.
I know.
Well, I have it on Apple if you ever want it.
Nice.
Watch
Appreciate
it.
that.
Because I will watch those movies till the day I die.
Hell yeah.
They're great. They're great.
Okay, well, here comes the moment of truth. Mike?
I say it's 3.5.
Oh, wow. You went lower with this than I thought
It's
you
not
would.
that low. If you're going 1 to 5,
I
I
know.
mean,
Well,
it's
I
not
know,
that
but
low.
by comparison to what we've rated things so far, and
Well, I mean, the
you're right. You're right. It's
other
not. You're
ones
right.
are way better still
It's
right
not.
now.
No, I agree. But I just the
But they've
way
also been established for a while. So, I mean, we've already known these characters. This is character we're all still getting to learn.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably closer to what I was even thinking.
Are you going to copy me again?
I haven't copied you. Wait, did I? How many times have I copied you?
I mean, you get close to me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
Always like
I do
for
use
one
it to
of us.
inform my decision. Yes, a little bit, but okay. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds. You know what? I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna surprisingly go higher and say 3 points. 3 point. I'll say 3.6. How's that?
Nice.
So then we got a 3.55. All right. Which is not, yeah, it's definitely the lowest we've had so far on the show. But so we'll see. We'll see how this show plays out. But again, and like something that I had heard from someone that it's maybe not as aimed toward us as some of the other shows.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to understand the MCU, you still kind of have to watch it.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
I'm at. If I'm already over 10 years of commitment into the MCU. Well, I would just stop now.
And yeah, I mean to be clear, like I don't know, like because it's the high school aspect, even though Spider-Man is also takes
I know,
place in
but
high school.
it reminded me like everything reminded me like the Spider-Man series because Homecoming had that kind of feel to it. It's the beginning, but it didn't have it in the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. I think I like it. I like the animation within the while they're talking. And she's like actively imagining, and you can see her imagination on
And
in the
that's
streets.
it's it's funny you say that because like yes, I guess that's a cool effect, but I think that's also the part of the reason I maybe don't rate it as high as some of the other stuff we'd seen so far because that
But there,
does also make it feel more, well, quite honest, more animated, I guess, like
I mean, we watch
but
animation already from Star Wars, so
I
it's
know,
different.
but it's like, but it's meant to be more cartoony than like. There's a difference between like
It's only
adult.
being cartoony because it's putting the perspective of her imagination on the screen for us, so we're kind of supposed to understand what she's seeing in her mind and how she's putting it out there.
I'm just trying to justify the lower rating. That's all.
I'm
But
not I'm not justifying my lower rating is just because I don't know her well enough to give her a high rating. And like
yeah, fair
it's
enough.
an origin story opening.
I would
That's what it
say
is.
it's kind of like. So I felt the same way about honestly like a couple of the Star Wars animated stuff initially. Like I felt that way with the Rebels, and I felt that way with the one that I don't think you've seen yet, the Resistance show also. But I do feel like over time you learn to really and but that's also different because you got like way more episodes to learn to get familiarized with the characters at the same time. So that's maybe the disadvantages to 6 episodes. As much as I like a 6 episode
Oh, I
season,
love the 6 episodes.
I do too. It just, but it can be said that you don't necessarily have as much time to get to love the characters quite as much, but we'll see.
Yeah, but I like though because this character is going to be back. It's only a matter of time before they're back. That's literally all these characters that are being introduced to us. They're going to come back some way. It's not Kevin Feige strictly said these characters are going to be introduced in shows. Don't be surprised don't be surprised if you see them in the Marvel movies because that's the direction, or
yeah.
vice versa.
Well,
You have
absolutely.
movie characters come into shows.
I think
It's
that's
going to happen.
Yeah, I don't. It's actually surprising me that it hasn't already been announced because I think it's very very clear that pretty much anyone you see in maybe not every character, but at least the lead characters in the
The
Marvel
lead
shows
characters, at
are
least.
going to be, yeah. Because I mean, yeah.
I think Moon Knight is going to end up somewhere with Blade and Kit Harington being the Black Knight. That's going to be a thing.
Nice.
Because remember in Eternals, where you heard Blade or Mahershala Ali say something about, sure you want to touch that, about that sword. Sure you want to do that, Mr. whatever his name is. Can't remember it. But yeah, that'll be a thing.
So
I don't know how they're going to do that yet, but.
Do you know, was Mahershala Ali credited for that movie? Or did they not because it's just the after credits?
It probably didn't. They probably credited him after the fact.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Well, okay. Well, that was. I mean, yeah, it was a fun little episode. Though it was a little introductory deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're moving right along here, right on to our third series. But
Yep.
Yeah, good times. Well, okay then. Were you looking that up still?
I was, but go ahead.
I suppose. Hey, if you want to email us, disnerdsplus@gmail.com is the email address to do that. The website is disnerdsplus.com. We are recording Wednesdays at, again, 7 or 8 Central, depending on how many episodes we have to do. Eventually, hopefully getting back to a more permanent 8 p.m. Central time slot. But yeah, 7 p.m. if we have 2 episodes. If we have overlapping series, let's just say, because we've got probably still a couple weeks of this to catch up with Miss Marvel now. But you can watch us over at twitch.tv/ShaveMaddox. You can find Mike at Cool as a Cucumber. You can find me at Shave Maddox. And I think that will about do it. Any last thoughts, Mike?
Nope. I said what I need to say.
All right, great. T16.
Oh, and he was, by the way, credited in Eternals.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. Well, I guess we know that's him then. All right. Well, thanks again, Mike. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. Yeah. And until next time, have a good one. See you later.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Whew.
Oh, yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Yay. Now you're going to go to bed.
Oh, yeah. So you're not doing those games that you thought you might be playing?
Tonight?
Oh, I think someone asked yesterday, and he said something about after.
Oh, yeah. It's too late now. I'm not starting to play.
No.
At 9:45.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You guys play too late. God damn it.
No, I'm not playing. I'm not. I don't think I gotta post episodes.
Fair
I
enough.
don't have time to do that. I mean, hopefully.
I gotta go to bed so I can wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yay, 6:30. I'm actually used to it, but
Yep.
I won't get that much sleep though. I only average 4 to 5 hours sleep a night.
Yeah, well, that's, I guess 4 is maybe all people need, or that it's,
Well, I can say I'm pretty used to it now. I mean, if I had a newborn or anything, I'd be able to like do it.
yeah,
Be able to run off of this lack of sleep.
right. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Well, it's good podcasting again. Yeah,
Yeah,
did it. We got 2 more down. Yay.
indeed. All right. Well, you have
Until
a,
next week.
yep. You have a great night.
You too. See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
How we do the mirror dance. We're doing the mirror dance. Mirror, 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 mirror dance. Mirror in the mirror dance. Mirror, 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 mirror. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Meow.